Boaz was a relative of Naomi's husband. He owned large barley fields and would allow for the impoverished people in town to glean from his field to feed their families. So Ruth went to the fields of Boaz to reap some of the harvest for her and Naomi. She worked hard in the beating sun, taking no breaks. Ruth saw it as her responsibility to look after Naomi, and she did so happily. Boaz entered into the fields to greet his workers. "The Lord be with you," he told them. His smile was large and genuine. Boaz was a handsome man, perhaps 10 years older than Ruth. He stood tall and strong, but he was not intimidating or brutish. He walked the fields, making sure every person had enough to take home to their families. As he was scanning the fields, he spotted Ruth on the corner, away from the other women. He turned to the man in charge of the reapers and said, "Who is that young woman over there?" "Ah, yes, that is Ruth," the man said. "She is a young Moabite woman who came back with Naomi. She asked if she could glean from the field and has not stopped working since sunrise." Boaz looked at her, concerned that she was working all alone. Boaz turned towards Ruth and walked down to where she was working. Ruth's head was down, and her eyes were locked on the barley stalks. "Hello," Boaz said. Ruth looked up, startled. When she saw it was the man who owned the fields, she relaxed and smiled. The two locked eyes for a moment. They looked in silence for only a few seconds, although it seemed much longer. Boaz shook his head and said, "I wanted to welcome you. Do not glean from any other field. You can work in mine as long as you want, but keep close to all the other women over there." Boaz gestured towards the other women working. "I have ordered the men to not harass you. If they do, they will have me to deal with. And when you are thirsty, there are vessels that the young men have drawn over there." As Boaz continued to speak, tears began to stream down Ruth's face. Surprised, Boaz stopped talking. Ruth bowed before Boaz, now sobbing into her hands. "Why are you being so kind to me?" she asked. Boaz smiled and helped her onto her feet. "I heard what you did for your mother-in-law. I was told of your husband who died, and how you remained with her and take care of her. I want the Lord to repay you for all you have done. It is under his wings you have taken refuge, not mine." Boaz's eyes were kind, and his voice was warm and welcoming. It drew Ruth in and comforted her. "You have truly comforted repay you for all you have done. It is under his wings you have taken refuge, not mine." Boaz's eyes were kind, and his voice was warm and welcoming. It drew Ruth in and comforted her. "You have truly comforted me," Ruth said, wiping her eyes. "I am not the only one working here, but you chose to speak with me." Boaz then invited her to eat with him and the other servants. Boaz passed out bread and wine to all his reapers and saved extra for Ruth to take home for Naomi. He then instructed the men to allow Ruth to work extra hours so her and Naomi may be taken care of. Ruth continued to watch Boaz from a distance. The way he cared for every servant, reaper, and worker was astounding. Ruth did not know it yet, but she was falling in love with Boaz. Ruth worked until the sun began to set. She brought home what she had gleaned to Naomi and gave her the bread and wine saved by Boaz. The two spoke into the night about Ruth's day. "Who on earth took such great care of you?" Naomi asked. "It was Boaz," Ruth replied, eyes focused on sifting the grain on the table. Naomi stopped her and turned her around. Her eyes were lit up like stars. "May Boaz be blessed by God. He is a close relative of ours. Not only that, but he is a kinsman redeemer, a chosen man from the family to be our head and guardian." Ruth smiled. The following weeks, Ruth kept close to the other women of the field and worked. She labored all day and talked with Naomi at night. And each day, Boaz and Ruth would catch small glimpses of one another, and Ruth felt safe under his care.